for you now. President Trump will handle it. That stern warning coming from top U.S. officials as North Korea sends new threats of nuclear war. Greg Palcott joins us now from London with the latest. Good morning, Greg.
Good morning, Heather. That's right. Tough talk coming from the Trump administration about North Korea, coming specifically from National Security Advisor General H.R. McMaster. Speaking to Fox News on Sunday, he said, in fact, that the Trump administration will deal with any issues coming from Pyongyang. Take a listen.
If necessary, the president and the United States will have to take care of it, because he said he's not going to allow this murderous rogue regime to threaten the United States.
This all comes as the U.S. and South Korea launch huge joint aerial military drills starting today, going through all this week. Some 230 aircraft involved, including stealth aircraft, as well as 12,000 U.S. service members, both Marine and Navy. They're being deployed from 8 different bases in the region. Now, all of this is annual, pre-planned, but it does come in the wake of last week's launching of an ICBM by North Korea, the longest range, most powerful ever, capable, according to experts that we spoke with, of hitting all of the U.S. mainland with a nuclear payload, potentially. The regime of Kim Jong-un, following that, said that they had completed their rocket and nuclear arsenal. As for these exercises over the weekend, Pyongyang state media saying that all of this pushes the Korean Peninsula to the brink of nuclear war, and just for good measure, they branded President Trump insane. A couple more comments from General McMaster, Heather, also telling Fox that the president has told his team to move as quickly as possible to deal with the situation. Very fast-moving story. Back to you.
Yeah, someone needs to deal with it. Greg Palcott live for us. Thank you, Greg.
North Korea's missile launch on Wednesday now confirmed to be their most sophisticated to date. Defense officials from the U.S. and South Korea confirming the missile was an ICBM, capable of delivering a 2,200-pound payload to virtually any point in the continental United States.
If it were fired at a normal angle, it would be capable of flying over 8,000 miles. That means it can reach Washington, D.C.
And on Friday, signs emerged that another test could be underway soon with the construction of a new launch pad. It's a big step forward for the North Korean military, which has pressed on with its missile and nuclear programs despite the Trump administration's attempts to isolate the North diplomatically and economically.
That maximum pressure campaign is our top national security priority here. Nations continue to get on board and support that.
If North Korea does launch against the U.S., one likely target is Hawaii. Officials there taking the threat seriously, testing a newly revamped air raid warning system on Friday. Tourists and residents say they think it's a good idea, given the unpredictability of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un.
He seems somewhat unstable, and because of that, I think precautions should be taken.
It's concerning. I feel a little bit like it's out of my hands.
South Korean officials say at the rate that they are progressing, North Korea could have a viable arsenal of nuclear missiles ready by the middle of next year. In London, Greg Palcott, Fox News.
And the North Koreans said, and this is a quote here, they don't care about what that mad dog may utter. The mad dog referring to the U.S. president. So while President Trump avoided the kind of nicknames and taunts that he used in the months leading up to this speech in South Korea, the North Koreans are certainly doubling down on their fiery rhetoric, saying that this situation right now is the most tense that it has been since the Korean War. That is the official word from North Korean government officials.
For the first time in years, 3 U.S. aircraft carriers are heading to the Pacific, along with their supporting warships. Also, more aircraft to the region, like these F-35s, and a submarine that can deploy elite Navy SEALs. That's on top of the roughly 32,000 American troops currently stationed in South Korea.
The giant warship's mere presence in Busan port is a stark warning of the firepower of the forces ready to confront North Korea. The USS Ronald Reagan has played a leading role in a week of intense military exercises off the Korean peninsula, in what some see as a dangerous game of brinkmanship.
The regime has interpreted America's past restraint as weakness. This would be a fatal miscalculation. This is a very different administration than the United States has had in the past. Do not underestimate us, and do not try us.
The Republic of Korea and U.S. Navy forces have, by their actions, demonstrated our commitment, resolve, and ability to defend the Republic of Korea and maintain security and stability on the Korean Peninsula.
The USS Ronald Reagan is a 100,000-ton nuclear-powered aircraft carrier with 5,000 sailors on board. This week they performed 90 F-18 Super Hornet sorties in the Yellow Sea and the Sea of Japan. Their mission here is almost complete, but the message of these war exercises is loud and clear. As the naval exercises wind up, North Korea's threat of what it called an unimaginable strike on the aircraft carrier.
We will together confront North Korea's actions and prevent the North Korean dictator from threatening millions of innocent lives. He is indeed threatening millions and millions of lives so needlessly.
He was going to unveil this very dramatic moment of him and his team going to the DMZ to essentially send that message to Kim Jong-un that the United States has the backing of the South Koreans and vice versa. It would have been a dramatic moment, but it didn't happen because of the weather here in Seoul.
In one way, we're surprised. In a more honest way, we shouldn't be surprised, because what do we know about this president? Number one, he loves showmanship. Right? He loves the steely-eyed, I stared across the DMZ and they saw the resolve in my face type of moment. And we know, I always remind people, like, he's a reality TV host. That's who he has been in his life prior to being in the White House. What is better than the unexpected twist? He wasn't going, but now he is, right? I mean, this is all, there is a theatrical element to every presidency. This president embraces it, I think, more than others.
Lee Yong-pil agrees to talk, but the mood is tense. His anger at the U.S. palpable.
Donald Trump said he would totally destroy North Korea, a sovereign state.
He's referring to the U.S. president's fiery speech at the UN last month when he personally insulted a fellow head of state.
Rocket Man is on a suicide mission for himself and for his regime.
North Korean leader Kim Jong-un fired back, calling President Trump's behavior mentally deranged. North Korea's foreign minister made a threat that alarmed even longtime Korea watchers.
This could probably mean the strongest hydrogen bomb test over the Pacific Ocean.
Some analysts have accused North Korea of bluster, saying they haven't yet achieved full nuclear capability. And if they go to war, they risk total destruction. But the North Koreans warn the U.S. not to underestimate their resolve and their growing arsenal.
Should the world prepare for North Korea to detonate a nuclear device above ground?
The foreign minister is very well aware of the intentions of our supreme leader, so I think you should take his words literally.
Another daring defection on the Korean Peninsula. We're now learning more about a harrowing border crossing by a North Korean soldier and what he may have endured to reach safety. Brian Todd is standing by with new information. What can you tell us, Brian?
Wolf, this is a young man in his teens or early 20s who saw a chance today to get across the border in a very thick fog, and he took it. This is the second dramatic defection of a North Korean soldier in 5 weeks, the fourth one this year. And it's raising serious questions tonight about the conditions inside Kim Jong-un's massive army.
Unlike last month's dramatic escape, which was captured by surveillance cameras, today's run for freedom was shrouded by fog along a remote part of the heavily guarded border between North and South Korea. The North Korean soldier in his teens or early 20s took off on foot, looking to cross the demilitarized zone and defect to the south. He was tracked by fellow North Korean troops, who were fended off by about 20 warning shots from South Korean units. A short time later, shots were heard from the North Korean side.
They probably heard or saw movement. They thought it was the soldier, their soldier, and those were shots to kill. Those were shots to wound. These were not warning shots on the part of the North. The North doesn't do warning shots.
The defector, who experts say may have somehow evaded landmines, barbed wire, or electric fencing, is in South Korean custody tonight, being interrogated. Today's escape comes just 5 weeks after that other young North Korean soldier made his dramatic dash across the border. He was shot several times by his comrades and almost killed. This year alone, 4 North Korean soldiers have risked their lives to desert.
Why the rash of them so recently? What does it say about conditions inside the North Korean military?
Limited opportunities for food and nourishment, the fact that they can't be with their families, all of this cumulative effect. And the only thing that ties them together is this love and devotion, and the fact that Kim Jong-un, the Kim regime, is viewed as a deity.
Members of North Korea's million-man army have always been treated better than the civilian population. But analysts say in recent years, soldiers have been forced to hunt or grow their own food, even pulling their plows by hand, or to steal food from local villagers. Kang Ri-hyuk defected from the North Korean army 4 years ago.
Conditions were harsh. Everyone was hungry, even the soldiers. The UN is sending rice and fertilizer, and it all goes to the ranking officials. There are many soldiers who also die from disease because they're not given medical treatment.
The soldier who defected last month was found to be severely malnourished. Tonight, human rights monitors are concerned that even though the soldier who defected today is now safe, his family may be in danger.
They will most certainly be persecuted. First of all, they will be under extreme surveillance. They will be dragged in for questioning. If there's any indication that they knew that their family member was going to escape, they could be executed, sent to a political prison camp, but they will definitely suffer for this.
And experts say heads will probably roll within the military units these soldiers came from. Their superiors will likely be removed from command, tortured, they could be executed. Still, analysts say these recent defections could provoke a rash of more North Korean troops to risk everything and try to dash across that border. Wolf?
You know, Brian, the South Koreans have also actively tried to entice North Korean troops to come across. Could that have inspired this latest soldier to defect?
Absolutely could have, Wolf. The South Korean Yonhap news agency reports that after that soldier defected last month, the South Koreans began broadcasting the news of his defection over loudspeakers to other North Korean soldiers just across the border. There's no doubt they heard it. It could have inspired this guy today.
In the wake of last week's launching of an ICBM by North Korea, the longest range, most powerful ever, capable, according to experts that we spoke with, of hitting all of the U.S. mainland with a nuclear payload, potentially. The regime of Kim Jong-un, following that, said that they had completed
News alert for you now. President Trump will handle it. That stern warning coming from top U.S. officials as North Korea sends new threats of nuclear war. Greg Palcott joins us now from
aerial military drills starting today, going through all this week. Some 230 aircraft involved, including stealth aircraft, as well as 12,000 U.S. service members, both Marine and Navy. They're being deployed from 8 different bases in the region. Now, all of this is annual, pre-planned, but it does come.
London with the latest. Good morning, Greg.
Good morning, Heather. That's right. Tough talk coming from the Trump administration about North Korea, coming specifically from National Security Advisor General H.R. McMaster. Speaking to Fox News on Sunday, he said, in fact, that the Trump administration will deal with any issues coming from Pyongyang. Take a listen.
If necessary, the president and the United States will have to take care of it, because he said he's not going to allow this murderous rogue regime to threaten the United States.
This all comes as the U.S. and South Korea launch huge joint air